Chapter 3, Sets. The first thing we're going to look at is set notation. And here on the left hand side, we are given a Venn diagram with the universal set, which contains everything, and the set A and the set B. When we're listing the elements in the set, we use the set brackets. This symbol here means a subset. This symbol is an element of, and this is the null set. A union B is all the elements in A and all the elements in B. So when it's shaded in the Venn diagram, it's all elements in A and B. A intersection B is just the elements that are common to both, the elements that are in A and B. A complement is all the elements that are not in A. So it's everything outside of the full set A. And likewise, B complement would be everything outside B. A less B means everything in A that's not in B. So all the elements in A that are not in B. The cardinal number of A, or hashtag A, is a number of elements in A. And depending on whether they're given as elements, so if the elements were A, B, C, and D, the number of elements in A in this case would be equal to 4, because you've 1, 2, 3, 4 elements in A. If the elements were given as a number and no dot, so if we were told there was 5 in here and 3 in here, they aren't the elements 5 and 3. That means there's 5 in here and 3 in here. So the cardinal number of A would be 8 in this case. Again, depending on what the question asks, how you answer it. We don't use the set brackets when you're using the cardinal number. You just give the final answer. Here we have set notation with 3 regions. So we're going to go one at a time here. And the first one, A union B less C, I'm going to shade in the regions, is everything in A and B, all of A and all of B, that's not in C, without C. So it's in here, and in here. So it's not including the set C. Number 2, it's everything in B that's not in the intersection, of A, B, and C. So everything in B that's not in there. So it's everything in B that's not in the intersection of A, B, and C. Number 3 is A union, so everything in A that's also in B intersection C. So B intersection C is here. Sorry, it's not. B intersection C is here. So it's B intersection C union A, including all of A. So we include all of A as well. So B intersection C, including all of A. The next one, number 4, is A less B. So everything in A that's not in B. So we'll do one at a time here. So everything that's in A that's not in B, which is all of this. Union means including also everything in A that's not in C. So including everything in A that's not in C. But when it includes both of them, we add them together. So union means you add them together. So it's everything apart from in A, apart from the A intersection B intersection C. And finally, number 5 here, A union B, which is all of A and all of B, intersection A union C. So A union C would be all of this. But this time it's the intersection of them. So we're going to do them separately. Intersection is just the middle. So A union B is all of this and all of this. A union C is all of this. Okay, A union C is all of C and all of this. So the intersection of them is going to be everything that overlaps, which is just all of A. So the intersection of them is just going to end up being all of the set A. Number 8, we're looking at set notation with 3 regions. So I've given an example there of the sets A, B, and C with elements placed in it. So when we're listing the elements, list the elements in A intersection B, B complement, B intersection C less A less B union C. Find the cardinal number of A union B union C complement. And then number 3, using set notation, describe the empty region in the Venn diagram. So pause the video now, try this, and I'll attach the solutions later on. Number 9, problem solving with 3 sets. When you're problem solving with 3 sets, if the Venn diagrams aren't drawn, draw them first. If they are or they aren't drawn, label them. They're drawn here. And don't forget to also draw your universal set, because there could be people in this question who hadn't been to any of the three regions. So your universal set will cover on the outside. So in this question, you were asked to, given so much information, always fill in from the middle if you can first. So looking at the information there, 4 teenagers had travelled to all 3 countries. So you can put 4 in the middle. So start from the middle where possible and work outwards. 12 had travelled to France and Spain. So 12 had travelled to France and Spain, but because it doesn't mention the 4 here, it doesn't say France and Spain only, that means that it'll be 12 minus 4, which is 8. 8 had travelled to Spain and Italy. So 8 had travelled to Spain and Italy, so that'll be 8 minus 4, which is 4, so the full region is 4 there. And X had travelled to France and Italy only. But because it's France and Italy only, we put the X in there. Again, the language is really important depending on what the question says, because it's France and Italy only. If this had said 12 had travelled to France and Spain only, then 12 would go in here. But because the 4 in the middle had also travelled to France and Spain, they're included in the 12. So from there, work it out. Spain is probably the easiest one to fill in because 26 had travelled to Spain. So I'm going to make this a small bit easier for myself here. So I'm going to put number 26 in here. So I know that total must be 26. 8 and 4 is 16. 26 minus 16 is 10. So the full region in Spain, when you add them up together, you get 26. 30 had travelled to France. Again, the whole thing must add up to 30. So 13 minus 8 is 22. Minus 4 is 18. Minus x is 18 minus x goes in there. And the same thing with Italy. I know 28 had travelled to Italy in total. So 28 minus 4 is 24. Minus 4 is 20. 20 minus x goes in here. And again, see if you can have anything on the outside. 4 teenagers, twice as many, had never travelled to any of the destinations, which is on the outside, as had travelled to France and Italy only. So France and Italy only was x, so twice as many of x is 2x. Represented on the Venn diagram, we have done part 1, and then find the number of teenagers who travelled to France only. So you're looking for this region in here. France only is this region, and to find this region, you need to find x, and the question could say find x. So to find x, you set up an equation and you leave it equal to 70 because the total is 70. So you add up all your regions, starting with 18 minus x plus 8 plus 4 plus x plus 10 plus 4 plus 20 minus x plus 2x must be equal to the total of 70. And again, make sure that you've added up all the terms inside the Venn diagram and that you let it equal to your total, which is 70. So hopefully I've done that correct there. So what happens is these x's cancel. The minus x plus 2x just becomes x. 18 plus 8 plus 4 is 30, 40, 50, 60, 64. So x plus 64 is equal to 70. X becomes equal to 70 minus 64, which is 6. So x is equal to 6. If the question just asks you to find x, then that would be your final answer. But because we're asked to find what's in friends only, we know friends only. This question will be 18 minus x, which is 18 minus 6, which is equal to 12. And again, it's important that you answer the question posed. And finally, recently they've done more kind of problems that have, I suppose, invoked a bit more thinking. And this question here gives you a Venn diagram that shows a number of people in the U Club who play music and sport, and work out the maximum number of people who could be in the U Club. So, depending on whether they ask for the maximum or the maximum number of people in the U Club will make this number plus this number plus this number plus this number to be as big as possible. And for it to be as big as possible, you have to spot that this number in the middle has to be as small as possible to make the 2n as large as possible. And the biggest number you can put in instead of n is 184. You could apply a bit of trying different numbers here and which ones get bigger, which ones get smaller if you want. If n is 184, then in the middle here it turns out to be 0. This is 52 still. This is still 125. And this will be 2 by 184. And if you add them together, 52. So if you add 52 plus 0 plus 2 times 184 plus the 125, you get 545 people is the maximum number of people who could be in the U Club. Again, these questions could be asked differently. It's important to be able to solve questions that are asked in slightly different ways.